What up? It's your boy, Dick Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again. And this is Black Clover episode 162 review. And oh my gosh, we in the heat of it now, man. Let's get into it.
I don't think I do it good, no, I think I do it great. They would do it if they could, they can't do it, so they hate. Everybody wanna look, but nobody wanna play. Stealing eyes.
Man, oh man. We kicked everything off last week with the start. Like we were there, but last week it's like the official start of the Spade Kingdom arc, and it went off with Yuno versus what's dude's name? Zenon. Or Zenon, however you want to say it. It went off. And we saw that the casualties were there. We saw that the blood was there. Some people didn't actually make it. We saw some dead bodies. They went in, man. And Black Clover is going off the rails, man. As a manga reader myself, I can gladly say they are doing their thing when it comes to this anime, man. They are on it. They're keeping everything incorporated, and the action is building upon what I've seen in the manga. So I'm totally already just engulfed in everything that's already going on, because this episode was still a pretty much a continuation of everything that took place last week. It's like the same day, or maybe like a few hours later, I guess you can kind of say, because nobody actually really knows what went down at the Golden Dawn base right now. So everything else is normal. Like, okay, well, this is cool, this is nice. But now we got to deal with Zenon attacking the Golden Dawn base. Matter of fact, I want to say maybe like a few hours later, or 1 or 2 hours later. But anyway, we got to deal with the Zenon attacking the Golden Dawn base, Megicula making her way to the Heart Kingdom to attack Lolopechka. But we have Noelle, Mimosa, Nero, Luck, and Leopold that are still there, along with Gaja-san. But we have those members that are still there. Asta went back to the Clover Kingdom to take snacks back to everybody at the Black Bull base. And at the base is only Asta, Ghosh, Vanessa, Henry, and Gray. Those are the only members that's there, because Fenrir went to get Yami. And boom, bam, we dive straight into it, man. There's no build up or anything. We just jump straight into it, and I love that. I love that, because that's how it went down in the manga, man. Like, we just dove straight into it. There's no preamp. There's no build up. It just happened. So we have Vanica, or Veronica, however you want to say it, at the Heart Kingdom with her flunkies, and they already killed multiple people. I think I want to say maybe over 100 and something. And now that Lolopechka and everybody knows that she's there, that's a whole nother fight that's going to take place. But that hasn't happened yet, so we'll come back to that when it actually takes place, probably next week. For now, let's deal with the attack at the Black Bull's base with Dante. Now, we see that Dante is just lurking outside the building, and Henry's still resting because there's not a lot of people there, so he hasn't recovered all of his magic yet, and Charmy's not there, so they can't recover their magic, so Henry has to siphon off a little bit at a time. So we're in a predicament. So if something happened, that's how we ended up in this episode. That's how we get what's happening in this episode, because everything is a little fluctuated a little bit. But Dante comes, picks up the base. Henry doesn't notice because, he's still a little drained. But when he does notice, he tries to alert everybody. But at that point, everybody else just sees Dante anyway. They see Dante, man, and it just turns out Dante just attacks him. But because Vanessa has Rouge, Rouge intervenes when it comes to fate a little bit. So that spared everyone. But then we go into a full-fledged fight between Asta and Dante. And at this moment, Asta can't really connect. But Dante is trying to kill Asta, but because of Rouge, Dante can't kill Asta. Now, Rouge has his moments. But with Dante being possessed by a devil, and a high-class devil, we see that Vanessa and Rouge both trained, but it still wasn't quite enough, because once Dante went up to 60%, he evaporated Rouge. He didn't kill him, but he evaporated Rouge, and Rouge just kind of went out. It kind of I guess you could say, kind of zapped all the mana out of Vanessa a little bit, and Vanessa can't use Rouge anymore. So Asta has to fight Dante, and he's putting in work, but he's not hitting anything, because Asta is one of those people, don't get me wrong, he trained, he got stronger, he got buffer, he tapped in more into his anti-magic, but at the same time, it's not, I guess you could say, as precise as it needed to be, because after he learned swordsmanship, but he still needs that extra oomph of swordsmanship along with his devil powers. So he can't really quite tap into all of that just yet. But Dante, you know, he had his devil for a little while longer, and he's tapped into it more, and he's using 50%, and then he bumped up to 60%, and Asta can't do much. But in that moment, in this entire thing, we see Gray trying to do something. I'm not knocking Gray because I love Gray, but it's just, she can't really do much at this moment. But we see Ghost and Asta teaming up, putting in work. Man, they were going in. Had it been anybody else, I think they would have stood a chance. But because it was Dante and his high-powered devil and tapping into 60 and 50%, it didn't work as well. But they were putting in work. And you could see the fruits of their training from both of them. But it just didn't quite work. Ghost went all in from the jump. Asta went all in from the jump. But it just wasn't quite enough. But then we see that Dante has Asta pinned down, and he's trying to explain all this stuff to Asta. Well, we're both devil possessed, so why don't you team up with me? And human beings are evil with all of their rage and all this other stuff. And he's like, well, I want you to tap into all that untapped potential and power that you have. So in that moment, he stabs Ghost. And when he stabs Ghost, you can feel it, man. I mean, because sure, we see all of these other members, and there's a bunch of other characters that we like in Black Clover. But we started with Asta and Yuno, and it kind of just diverged a little bit, and it kind of just focused mainly on Asta. So we tapped into the Black Bulls, and those are the people that we got to know and love. Everybody has a backstory in the Black Bulls. Everybody has a past, and it's a pretty memorable past for everybody in sad situations for everybody in the Black Bulls. But those are the people that we got to know and love, and we're there with them through thick and thin, man. Through thick and thin, we are there for the Black Bulls, man. It's just something about the Black Bulls characters. Don't get me wrong. Everybody else has character development. There's some nice characters there with some of the other people and stuff. You guys know I love Nozzle. But, you know, Luck is my favorite. But everybody has something, and the Black Bulls just has that extra oomph for Black Clover for me, man. And those are the people that we know and love, and we, I guess you could say, grew up with since the beginning of the series. But when Ghost got stabbed in that moment, you can definitely feel it. It hit you. And you was like, no. And I was like, no. And in that moment, that was the worst thing Dante could ever do, because Asta flipped the script. Asta lost it, man. And when Asta lost it, it was so glorious. It looked fantastic. It's like he tapped into that untapped potential of his devil powers, but at the same time, he's not controlling it anymore. You know, the devil is pretty much in control, and Asta's just like the temple, and he's running around swinging and stuff. But you gotta admit, he's putting in work, man. And when he cut Dante, all of that, you know, that hurt and anger that you felt when Dante stabbed Ghost, you felt a little reprieve. You was like, oh yeah, it felt good. It made you feel some type of way to have Dante get cut. Sure, it wasn't like an impalement or anything, but he got cut. And we see the Asta's putting in work. And then that's when the episode goes off. And I watched the preview and everything. We see Gray kind of has like her Cinderella moment in next week's episode, and some stuff's going down with that. But Yami appears. And we all know that Yami Sukihiro ain't no joke, man. This episode was legit, and I love the fact that we tapped into everything. And as a manga reader, like I said, we're diving straight into it. We're in the heart of it. Everything is already fantastic, man. And we just dove straight into it. I can't wait, man, because this arc, man, is fantastic. And the animation this episode was so fluid. It was so nice, clean, and crisp. It was just there, man. Everything was perfection, if you ask me. I loved this episode. And the Spade Kingdom arc is hitting different, man. This is your boy, Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Remember, the anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.